welcome back to my channel. In my last video, a bunch of you commented that you wanted to see a 5 looks, 1 palette on the new Desi and Katy Dose of Colors collab. So this is that video. I just finished filming this look. This is look 5 of 5. So I cannot wait to show you guys every look that I've created with this palette. I have been playing with it all week and I've been absolutely loving it. Before we get into this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, guys, before you leave. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Patty and I would love it if you subscribed. We do a lot of makeup tutorials and product reviews and all that fun stuff. Also, if you want to see any close-ups of the looks, I took lots and lots of pictures, so I'll be posting pictures on every look on my Instagram account, and that way you guys can see them in more detail. This palette is so spectacular. You can literally do anything with it. I love that you can do the most like basic look or the most like in your face look with it. This is not even as like nighttime as it gets. The handle for my Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter is at Patty C Alonso, the way it's spelled right here. So if you follow me there, you can see whenever I upload new videos, I announce it on Twitter, and you can always see like sneak peeks of things that I'm working on if you follow my Snapchat, because I sometimes will snap throughout the day with like whatever look I'm wearing while I'm working on a video. And obviously for any like details of makeup looks that you want to see a little bit more like up close, you can follow my Instagram at Patty C Alonso. Please let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the video and the looks and what your favorite look is. I'm always interested to know what look stuck to you the most, what you want to try. So leave me all those comments down below because I want to know what look was your favorite one. Alright guys, so let's not ramble any longer. Let's just go ahead and get started.
Alright, so I started each look with an eyeshadow primer, but I'm only showing this clip for look number 1. The first color I'm grabbing for look number 1 is the color Basic. I am using a big fluffy brush from Morphe, and I'm doing windshield wiper motions on the crease of my eye with this color. This is just a little bit darker than my complexion, so it's going to start building that crease up a little bit. It's setting my eyeshadow primer as well and creating a little bit of a transition for the next shade. The next color I'm using is the color Necessary, and I am blending it also on the crease but a little bit lower. I'm blending it into the color Basic, and I'm softening the edges a little bit with my fingers rather than with the brush. I started doing this recently and it actually helps. So the next color up is the color Churro, and I switched my brush to a little bit of a smaller brush because I wanted to intensify it in a smaller area. So you see me applying it to the outer corner of my eye, and then you'll see me start getting into the crease, doing the inner part of the eye as well because I'm starting to build a halo eye, and then I go back with my bigger fluffier brush and I go ahead and make sure that I blend all of the edges so that everything has a very nice smooth transition. And then I switched to a teeny tiny blending brush. This is the Morphe M506. I love this brush. And I'm grabbing the color Sheens, which is the darkest matte color that this palette has. And I am intensifying the outer corner of my eye. I love doing it with this brush because I could soften the edges. And then I also did it on the inner corner as well to intensify the halo eye. And you also see me starting to get into the crease to darken up the crease ever so slightly so that it's a little bit more defined and it ties up at the top. And to finalize the crease, I just took a fluffier brush and I started going back and forth in windshield wiper motions just to make sure that everything blended and that I had a nice ombre effect on my crease. I wanted the center of my halo eye to be very defined and bright, so I went ahead and I grabbed a flat brush and some concealer, and I started putting concealer in the center of my eyelid. I took it all the way to the crease and I did a little bit of a cut crease in the center of my eyelid, and I just tried to diffuse it to the edges as best as I could. To set the concealer, I went back with a shader brush and I used the color Basic in the center of the eyelid one more time, just to make sure that the concealer was set, and I also used it a little bit so that the edges wouldn't be as harsh. I also went back to my very small Morphe brush and the color Necessary, and I started blending the dark around my eyes in a little bit because I wanted to be a nice gradient effect from the center of my eyelid all the way to the inner and outer corner. I had to also use the color churro to make sure that it looked really, really nice and diffused, because with the color necessary by itself, it was leaving a weird shadow. For the center of the halo, I used my pinky and the color Just a Kiss, and I started pressing that color all over the space in the center of my eyelid, and I went back a couple of times and made it as intense as I needed it to be, basically. Lastly, I wet my Sephora Collection number 15 brush with a little bit of setting spray, and I went back one more time with the color Just a Kiss to make it a little bit more intense and more metallic looking, because with the finger it looked really good, but I wanted to like be seen from very far away. So that's what I did, and after this I went ahead and simply did my face makeup and came back like this. So you see I have my face makeup now, and I'm combining the color Churro and Necessary on a small blending brush and applying these two colors underneath my lower lash line. I am going back and forth making very weird faces as always, and I'm making sure that I blend not just underneath my eyes, but I also connect it to the work that I did at the top. And so that it would match the top of the eye, I went back with a flat brush in the color Cheens to intensify the under eyes. And blend, 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 and that way everything's going to look just as nice and diffused as you did at the top. You gotta make sure to not just spend time on the top of your eye, but also on the bottom side. And then the last little detail, of course, is the inner corner highlight. And for this palette, Just a Kiss is perfect for the inner corner highlight because it is really bright and very shiny and sparkly and all that good stuff. So that's the color that I'm using there. And this is look number 1 finalized. I'm having a very difficult time picking favorites because I honestly loved every single look that I created with this palette. I'm using Ardell lashes, by the way, on this one, the Wispies. And here's look number 2. And we are going to start it the same way we did with look number 1. So that is using the color Basic all over the crease with a big fluffy brush to use it as a transition shade, just like we did in the first look. And you're going to see that a lot of these start very, very similar, guys. So after that, I used that same big fluffy brush and one more time the color Necessary, blending back and forth on the crease of my eye, doing windshield wiper motions and intensifying the crease to get that nice diffused effect. This time we're grabbing the smaller fluffy brush and we're going to get the color Girl Bye and we're going to blend it on the crease of the eye, making sure that it blends into the first 2 colors that we applied. This one is a little bit warmer, so you'll see a little bit more of a difference and you might have to work on blending it a little bit more than you did the first time because you're changing the tone of the eyeshadow a little bit. So you see me here working that crease, going back and forth and making sure that everything diffuses. I went back to my bigger brush that I started with, again, to make sure that all the colors just blended into one another to give me that perfect ombre effect. This is the darkest of all looks, so I had to go to the color Cheens to intensify the crease as much as I could. Of course, I didn't want to use any other palette, but this one, the point of this video is to show you guys how to use one palette as many ways as you can. So I stuck to the color Cheens, didn't go any darker than this, and with my nice blending brush, I went back and forth, making sure it blended and it looked diffused because I needed a dark base to go in with the next color that you'll see me use. So again, take your time, make sure that everything looks blended before you proceed to the next step. So one more time with my pinky, but this time with the color Game Over, I am tapping on my eyelid and I am diffusing this color all over. So I'm going back to the color Game Over a few times and I am making sure it's very, very dark and intense and it gives me all the shine that I need. And I put it all the way from the inner corner of my eyelid to the outer corner. That's why I used my pinky finger because it was the one that was going to be most precise, basically. But then to do very, very close to the crease, I switched to my number 15 brush from Sephora Collection. So you see me just patting that color Game Over on along the crease of the eye, not in the crease, just underneath it, and making that line as sharp as I can, basically. And this is why we needed to use the color Cheens, because we needed to go very dark around the color Game Over so that it would look nice and still diffused, and it wouldn't jump from like the color black basically to like a very light shade. And for underneath the eyes, I use the colors Girl Bye and Necessary on a medium size like fluffy blending brush. This is the most like nighttime dramatic and intense look, so I didn't want to shy away from putting color underneath my eyes. This way it just brings more attention and makes the eye look more bold. I used the Beauty Blender to put some powder underneath my eyes to bake, because I knew the next step could have some fallout and I wanted to make sure I could remove it. So I went back with the color Game Over in a very teeny tiny detail brush, and I was putting it right underneath my lash line. I went back then to my finger because the little tiny brush was not picking it up very well. So you see me here with my finger, I am putting that black color Game Over underneath my eyes as well. And I am making sure that it blends on the outer corner as always. To remove the powder that was baking, I first used the fluffy blending brush and then switched over to my big fluffy brush that I use for powder. And in the inner corner, of course, I used the color Just a Kiss one more time to blind you with my inner corner highlight basically. And this is look number 2. I liked this look a lot more than I thought I ever would. I don't think I ever liked a black, basically a black smoky eye, as much as I liked it this time with the shade Game Over. Desi and Katy like outdid themselves with this palette. It's really, really wonderful. If you haven't gotten yours yet, I recommend it. So look number 3 starts with me looking crazy because I did it right after look number 2 and I did not want to remove all of my face makeup, so I just removed my eyes. Don't laugh. Of course, I started one more time with the shade Basic and I started using it as a transition shade, and then again switched over to the shade Necessary to intensify the crease a little bit more. I took a pause from my blending to show you guys some combinations of colors that I was trying out. Thank you so much to the person who sent me to watch Samantha Rabadal's video on the palette, because she was combining colors and it was looking beautiful. And since in my last video I showed you guys a red look, I skipped the red looks for this video. So if you want a red look, go watch it on my last video. And I went straight to like combining other colors basically. So here I'm just intensifying my crease with a big fluffy brush and the color Girl Bye, which is that beautiful like reddish tone color. And I'm just blending it back and forth on the crease of my eye with a big fluffy brush, making sure it looks nice and diffused as always. And I'm using my pinky technique one more time with the color Try Me, and I'm putting it all over the eyelid basically. This was my first color for my little combo that I created. I basically just picked one of the ones that I liked the most from what I blended in the back of my hand. So you see me here just patting the color Try Me and using my brush one more time to make sure I get as close to the crease as I possibly can, and to make the look a little bit more just defined basically. And then one more time with my pinky I get the color A Moment, which is this beautiful blue shade, and on top of the red it makes the look become purple, a beautiful shade of purple too. So you see me here with the finger and then with the brush one more time, blending in patting motions basically, so that the looks combine and it looks like a beautiful purpley shade. I wanted to make it a little bit brighter, so I also went in with a little bit of Just a Kiss to make it sparkle just a little bit more. And here I'm just signaling to you guys that I'm about to stop looking crazy in a second. There we go. So for underneath my eyes, I got a fluffy brush and the colors Girl Bye, and that's it, just Girl Bye. And I'm blending it right underneath my lower lash line. I was actually going somewhere. I was going on a date with my husband when I was doing this look, so yeah, I didn't make it too crazy, but I did really enjoy mixing colors and grabbing more fun colors out of this palette What happened to my voice? Hold on. With that same fluffy brush and the color Basic, I just made sure that everything looked nice and flawless. And then one more time, Just a Kiss with my little number 18 brush. I love that brush so much. It's so tiny. So I put Just a Kiss on the inner corner of the eye to make my eyes sparkle. And underneath, with my pinky, I used the color A Moment for a pop of color underneath the eye, and I made sure that that color was blending with the top on the outer edge. So you see me here popping it there, right there. And then some mascara and lashes, and look number 3 is completed. Here we go. Let me show you guys what this looks like. I loved the blue underneath the eyes. If you guys are scared of using color for your eyeshadow, consider doing something very simple and just the pop of color, using it exclusively underneath your eyes. It creates beautiful effects, and it just makes your eyes pop still. I really enjoyed this look. Using the Wispies by Ardell one more time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let's go ahead and jump to look number 4, which I think is definitely my top 2 favorites. So for look number 4, we are going to speed through the crease process a little bit faster because you guys have already probably seen it on one of the previous looks. So big fluffy brush and the color Basic all over the crease, back and forth, windshield wiper motions of course, and then we're going to get that same brush and use the color Necessary to deepen up that color a little bit more. The third color we're going to grab is the color Churro. And I'm using a smaller fluffy blending brush to diffuse this color because as always we want to create a ombre effect, so we want to darken up, and as we darken up the shade we make it a little bit closer to your crease. The next color I'm grabbing is the color Cheens, but this time I'm only putting it on the outer third of my eyelid and a little bit into the crease. I'm not taking it any further in the eye than that. We're concentrating this darker color only on that outer third of my eyelid and darkening up this eye look right there. Once there's no product on my brush, I'm diffusing so that there's no harsh lines. And with my pinky finger and the color Dirty Money, I'm going to go ahead and smooth this pigment all over 2/3 of my eyelid. So I'm placing it very close to the inner corner of my eye through my eyelid, all the way to the crease, and blending it into the outer third as best as I can. I ditched the finger and went in with a brush afterwards to make sure that the color was very nice and like heavily pigmented and just like as shiny and intense as it could possibly be. So I used my number 15 brush for this of course and made it as intense as I could. In order to make it a little brighter towards the inner corner of the eye, I layered a little bit of Just a Kiss with my number 18 brush over the color Dirty Money. And then for underneath my eyes, I use a fluffy blending brush and I mixed the colors Churro and Necessary and blended those two colors combined all over my lower lash line. Lastly, with my number 18 brush and the color Just a Kiss one more time, I made sure that that inner corner looked as intense as it could and as bright as it could basically. I used a black eyeliner in the waterline of my eyes, and after some mascara and a pair of fake lashes, this is the final look. This is look number 4. I love this one. I think it just makes my eyes look bluer, and that's why I mainly like it so much. I didn't expect I would like this color Dirty Money as much as I liked it basically. The lashes that I'm using, by the way, are the Huda Beauty lashes in the style Scarlet. These were the same ones that I was wearing for look number 2 and the same ones that I'll be wearing for the last look. And finally, we got to look number 5. And I'm starting, of course, by using Basic all over the crease of the eye with a big fluffy brush. This one's from Sigma. I then went ahead and with the color Necessary, intensified that crease a little bit more so that it gives me a nice gradient effect. And then I switched my brush, but this time instead of the color Churro, I'm going for the color Girl Bye, and I'm using this nice reddish tint to intensify the crease of my eye a little bit more. So you see me here going back and forth using windshield wiper motions and making sure that everything is as nice and diffused as it can get to be. I got a clean blending brush with nothing on it and just made sure that I diffused all the edges because it was looking a little bit patchy and it wasn't blending as much as I wanted. So you can see here I just like kind of took that clean brush and made everything super even. And then the star of this look is the color A Moment by itself. I ditched the pinky because I ended up always using the brush anyway, so I went in straight with my Sephora Collection number 15 brush and the color A Moment, and you can see me here just really building that color up, making it show as intense and pigmented as it could possibly be, and I'm just using little strokes to blend that color all over the eyelid basically. I decided I wanted to darken up the outer third of the eyelid, so I grabbed a very small fluffy brush in the color Cheens and I started blending that color on the outer corner of the eye, making it meet the blue right there on the eyelid and blending it ever so slightly. I went ahead with a clean blending brush one more time and made sure I went over any areas that had a little bit of a line or where I'm blending to make sure everything looked nice and even. And then one last time you see me going over that blue with my Sephora Collection number 15 brush just to make sure that it was really, really intense. And as a last step for the top of the eye, of course, I made sure that I put the color Just a Kiss with my number 18 brush in the inner corner to make it look very nice and bright in there. So for underneath the eyes, I grabbed a pencil brush and the color Girl Bye, and I blended this color all under my lower lash line. I took it all the way to the outer corner of the lower lash line to make it meet the blending that we had done at the top, of course. And then with a bigger, it's not that much bigger, but it's just like a fluffier brush basically, I used the colors Necessary and Basic combined to make sure that everything looked nice and diffused, and again going back to the bottom looking just as good and diffused as the top did. I thought I was missing a little bit of something, so I grabbed a tiny smudger brush and the color A Moment and added that bright blue to the underneath of my eyes as well. And then to complete it, I had to put a little bit extra of that color A Moment to the outer corner of the top as well, because I thought it was just like missing something there. I went back with the fluffy brush and made sure that everything looked nice and diffused. And lastly, I grabbed a blue pencil eyeliner and I lined the waterline of my eyes with the color blue as well, so that they would pop even more. I wish I had had a brighter blue than this one because I think it would have been even better, but this one did the job just fine. So here's look number 4. I left this one for last because I thought with that color blue it was going to be my absolute favorite look. But to be completely honest with you, I liked some of the other colors in this palette so much that I don't think this look makes it to my top 2. I love it. It looks really pretty, but I think there's 2 other looks that I like even better than this one. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And here's me just making sure you see as much as you can of this look. Remember, I'm going to be posting them on Instagram, guys.
Alright guys, and that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed that I did use lashes for every single look this time. I took my time. I was not in a rush. I woke up like 3 hours before I had to go to work so that I can film these videos, and I had even enough time to do lashes for every look and everything. So I hope you guys appreciate that. I know I appreciate it because it's going to look a lot better in pictures. Again, if you like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out when you guys do that, and let me know down below which look was your favorite one. The Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter handle is right here, so you guys don't forget to follow me there. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. I truly hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you back in the next one. Bye!